We're going to be watching Pooh the War Boss today, who is also known as Piano, and I'm definitely going to be referring to him as Piano. He's going to be facing Inekura, who is playing as the Wart Spider Exarch. This is going to be quite the wild matchup. It's been a while since I've seen a good old Xenos scrap. But Wart Spider Exarch, kind of notorious for his inability to deal with melee jump squads. No real counter-initiation tools or melee upgrades in Tier 1 for him, compared to the Warlock of the Farseer. So that could be tricky against the War Boss, who of course is the one that can utilise melee of the Orcs the best. I don't even know what to make of the comments. Vulcan Pits is the original form of this map, where there is a bit of a different layout on the resources. In fact, I think the only difference is that this VP and power are flipped, so the VP on Vulcan is exposed and the power is safer back here. Of course, it's the same for this side. I don't know. Innie going for the Rangers straight away. Bit of posturing. Here come the Rangers. They've got their shuriken pistols, which will mark the enemy targets to make them take more damage. Classic. Warboss got a special attack, knocked over the enemies before his stomp damage could come in. Taking his time to move, and he's going to get wrecked there by the Banshees, aided of course by the marking pistols. Meanwhile, the Wart Spider Exarch has just been skirmishing on this side against the Slugger Boys. And gibbed one of the models, and then they retreated. They don't want any of that crap. It's annoying when you're trying to chop a boy up and he's shooting you and he can teleport away. Second Ranger coming out now for Inekura. No power up for him yet. Burners coming up, as well as a Stormboy squad having been purchased. No power for Piano either. Makes sense, he's got so many squads. A lot of requisition going into all these melee boys over here. Banshees, of course, do not want to fight that. They can fight an isolated Stormboy. Okay, use your choppers. Man, that's a really aggressive use your choppers. I mean, there's no way that's worth it whatsoever. He must have thought that the Banshees were going to commit. He used that a little bit too early. Rangers just upgraded to long rifles at a very bad time there. They're in a terrible situation. Oh my god, the Stormboys wiped the Banshees! Wow. Wow. That's not good. Let's see the Ranger DPS with their long rifles. So they've got a lot less burst now, but they've got that higher DPS if the enemy just sits in their fire. Yeah, right, the sluggers are just going to retreat anyway. I thought I seen blue over here, but it's just like a marker on the map. Rangers running into melee here with the shoot boys ambushing them. Gonna chop them to pieces here with their swords. And then fleet away before the Stormboys can come help them. I love the new pistol Rangers. I think they're really good, guys. I think they're very, very underrated. I don't like the long rifles. I think they're useless. But the pistols are really nice. I think they get basic. Do they get soft? I don't even know the term. Light melee resist with the pistols. 20% melee resist. I'm not sure. But they're fine. I like them a lot. You got to consider that these guys are cheap as chips. Still No other units for Inekura and only one gen, which seems a bit weird. Perhaps he wants to replace his Banshees? Because you would assume he'd be getting more gens if he didn't. He must want to replace the Banshees. Oh, that's a bad grenade. Oh, that's embarrassing, isn't he? Hey, look, no one's playing too regularly, I suppose. So we'll let him off. Shooter boy should be retreating. Lucky the Rangers couldn't snag a model there, and this is part of the problem I have with them. Of course, it is intended that with the DPS increase, they're going to be getting fewer models. That's what justifies the DPS increase. But I don't know, it just feels bad. They don't really do anything, and they're quite expensive. The long rifle rangers. I mean, this is more than a shuriken by quite a significant margin, actually. For a unit with a lot less impact. Shuriken is going to be the next purchase. No Banshee replacement. A generator is built. Shuriken going to do quite well in the mid here. No Storm Boys. Ooh, a little bit aggressive. Nice charge. Charges right into the point. Cancels his own charge. Hey, and the kinetic pulse. Very timely. That is something that the long rifle rangers can do for sure. That's good. Stop the warboss getting into melee there with the shuriken. Warp Spider chilling in the garrison there, very annoying. Stormboys proving for themselves to be quite the pain in the arse, but a nice little setup there from the shuriken, covering the soft retreat of these Eldar ranged units. Not bad for them. I'm not sure I'd be purchasing both upgrades on the shooter boys if I'm then going to run them around with only 3 models. It's a lot of investment for a squad that's not really outputting that much damage or has that much HP. That was a better grenade. Quite unlucky it seems to have only got 2 models there given how much damage it did. Again, the pulse into the close range shuriken. Pretty brutal for the warboss. Warboss really needs to start charging in from the flanks, not the front. Of course, easier said than done. Piano's going to be going to tier 2 first, but he honestly doesn't have that much of a lead. Soft retreat now by the Warp Spider Exarch. Of course, he's aware that the Slugger Boys here do have some burners, so they can burn to get out of the house if they need to. Now we need the long rifles to come down and support this position in them. Something like here would be quite good. But the heavy gauge Death Spinner and the improved target is proving to be quite the nuisance. 1 more energy required for the spider before they can teleport, therefore he just retreats. He doesn't want to risk getting hit by a special attack before he can get that teleport. And the melee is going to be chopping up these rangers. They're gonna wipe. Oh, they do. Oh, they do. Yikes. That's pretty brutal. My god. Is he going to wipe the shuriken here too? Ooh, so close. I feel like 1 more swing should have got that. Wow. Stormboy is doing very well here. Nice that Innie could grab at least 2 models with a grenade there. Stormboys, they're not too expensive to reinforce, but they do cost power, which can hurt the orc economy when they want to get to tier 3 nice and fast. Piano is an absolute lover of Death Dreads, and he's going to be confirming it here, going for a Death Dread first in tier 2. Guardian's putting pressure again on the natural of Piano. VP is definitely favourable for Inekura so far. It is challenging to win the VP game when you're facing a Warp Spider Exarch. Just suppressing the warboss in time there. With the support of the Warp Spider Exarch, the Rangers certainly will win this fight. I'm not sure they would have otherwise. The problem for them is, even though they do reasonable damage in melee with those swords, they just don't have any HP. 420 HP. A little bit higher now because they're level 2, but still. Death Dread's already got its burners and bits, of course, and is bashing away at the gens. We do have Crackshot already active on the Shuriken, which Piano sees. So he knows the Bright Lance is coming, and he forces it off before it can even get the Bright Lance. I'm not sure I would have telegraphed the Bright Lance tech quite that much. Lucky to get out alive there with his Hawk Spider Exarch. Bright Lance gets a trio of little beams out, but now the Death Dread is going to disengage. Of course, the Death Dread can't take on a Wraith Lord 1v1, but the Wraith Lord can't really hurt it. Certainly not prior to getting the Bright Lance shoulder-mounted upgrade, but he's not going to go for that. That probably would be quite an overcommitment just to kill the Death Dread. Going to go for the Shuriken Cannon. Honestly, the shoulder-mounted Shuriken Cannon is just amazing on the Wraith Lord against Orcs. You bleed it so much. So really decent. Oh, what was that retreat path? What the fuck? That was weird. I don't know what that was. The Death Dread stayed in melee with the Wraith Lord. Keck. I mean, that has to be a huge micro mistake from Piano. There's no way you sack that off right now. There's only one source of AV. That's not enough to take out a Death Dread. Man, that's rough. And what are we getting now? What spiders? Probably? Yeah. Yeah, this is looking good compositionally for Inekura. We do have a Looter squad coming out who's going to be getting the B-me to put on a bit of pressure onto the Wraith Lord. But, I don't know, man. You got spiders, you got the What Spider Exarch himself. It's going to be kind of hard to keep your looters around, really. Oh, look at all this range damage, dude. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of gibbed orcs, I think. Piano's going to have to be so careful with his engagements here to not bleed too much. This is how you lose as orcs. You get stuck in tier 2, bleeding constantly from your loss of boys. Beam Looter putting the hurt on the Wraith Lord there, though. But it backs off, reacts quite quickly, and the spiders are going to come up instead. Instant force off of the Storm Boys. Probably going to give some models over here. Yep, this is what I mean. That's like... oh, dude, it's brutal. Nothing these guys can do against the spider here when he's hugging the garrison like this. Yeah, this is rough. And the Warboss doesn't really achieve a whole lot either. Not really a good map for the Warboss because it's so open. You want a map with a lot of line of sight blockers which you can hide behind so you can be brawling without getting shot in the face as he approaches. So you can see the Scorch Beam is active here in the Bright Lance. And so it is slowly tickling the HP of the Warboss, which is now regenerating very fast thanks to the charge there. But most of the action is happening on this side. It's just a bit of skirmishing still. Again, more boys being bled. I mean, it's basically impossible. Every time he engages, he's going to get bled. Just piercing DPS out the arse here from the Eldar. It's definitely something the Eldar are good at. They struggle a lot more versus the Marines and the heavy infantry armor, but light infantry, they can tear to pieces, that's for sure. I mean, just think about it. The spiders, both the hero and the squad, are doing a lot of piercing. The guardians are doing a lot of piercing. The shuriken cannon here is loads of piercing. It's pretty terrifying. The Stormboy is just trying to delay, I think. Delay the inevitable with the spiders pushing up this side to the natural VP. But of course, they get their little jump in. The spiders teleport away to dodge the jump. And then the Stormboys have to retreat because they're going to bleed. Quite lucky here, in fact, looking at their HP, that they didn't bleed. Shooter's now moving out with 2 models. What? I guess not intentional because he's retreating them straight away. Damn. But Piano's stalling. This is the whole point here. He's stalling to tier 3 where he can get a proper counter. Like a tank. Maybe Nobs. He is a war boss so he can kind of support the Nobs with the globals, but the Wraith Lord is not terrible against Nobs. It's not terrible. The whole point of the Nobs would be that all these other units would do basically nothing to them. Nobs are heavy infantry and they've got way more HP than the normal boys. so they can kind of shrug off this piercing. And they'd probably beat a Wraithlord 1v1, but it won't be a 1v1 fight. And chances are the Nobs will have less HP than the Wraithlord as well when they go into that fight. The problem with the looted tank would be there is already a Bright Lance, and there is a aspect of the Warp Spider squad, meaning that they can teleport in and throw a haywire grenade on you. Which could be tricky. I mean, that will shut down your looted tank for sure, and then the Wraithlord can get in and start chopping you up. Warp Spider's getting the kill with a melee sync kill there. The Warp Spider Exarch in the squad does actually have power blades. That sync kill, oh my god, that sync kill just cost them their life. That is, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay, well that suddenly makes the looted tank a whole lot better. Yeah, that was rough. That is why sync kills don't just happen randomly anymore. That was really bad, man. So you're only meant to proc sync kills now in the Elite mod when you get the final kill on the last model of the squad. But in the base game, any time a melee unit killed another melee unit, well, killed any other unit with a melee attack, there was a chance to proc a sync kill, which is just... whew, that's crazy to think about. Piano is going for the Nobs, but Inekura has managed to sneak to tier 3 in the meantime himself, and he could easily get a Fire Prism now, which would control the Nobs very well. Given that Piano is the war boss, that's actually the best time to get a Fire Prism, the best hero to get a Fire Prism against. The Mech Boy with his teleporting Beamy Death Gun can put a lot of pressure onto a Fire Prism. Commander Nob in tier 3 gets access to the rocket launcher, so even though the Commander Nob is the worst Orc hero for tier 2 AV, honestly he's probably the best Orc hero for tier 3 AV. You wouldn't dream of going to Fire Prism against a Commander Nob, that's asking for trouble. But yeah, against a war boss with Nobs, I'd be getting a Prism. Inekura is going for the Seer Council to try and match them. The Seer Council do have the damage type advantage insofar as they are power melee versus the heavy melee of the Nobs, but Nobs are just bigger and tougher. And they've got potential support from the Warboss Globals. Of course, Seer Council's advantage is that they're faster. So we'll see. They do all that knockback when they teleport in, but remains to be seen how effective they will be. You can see the Nobs are very good at tanking the piercing though. Here come the Seers. You can also see the difference in the HP between the Seers and the Nobs. I mean, Nobs are nearly twice the HP, for God's sake. And they're walking into the... okay. I don't know if I'd drop both the Uji Choppers and the Ad Boys. That seems a little bit excessive. Because the Seers can just disengage like that. Yeah. I don't even think they need an upgrade to win that fight. Maybe they do. I don't know. A global, I mean. They don't have the huge hammers, which is the biggest problem, so they're not getting the stacking damage buffs from being in melee for a while. No, Piano, don't get another Nob squad. Don't do it. Ooh, Wraithlord and Seer Council on retreat of these Nobs. That could be some bled models. One. Hard killing Nobs with grenades. Yeah, it's gonna get the looted tank. He needs the looted tank to put pressure onto the Wraithlord. Of course, the Seer Council can't deal with the looted tank either. But Ini should definitely be getting a Fire Prism. There's no doubt about it. It's actually such a good position for him for the Fire Prism. I mean, it can chain knock back the Nobs, completely negating them, but also the looted tank can't just rush down the Fire Prism so long as you keep the Bright Lance covering it. He's already got the Bright Lance to do that job. There's literally no other use of the Bright Lance either. Because there's only one vehicle going to be onto the field, the looted tank, so... The Orc unable to fully reinforce his squads here due to all the bleed. Might be going for some sort of Call the Boys play. can see the damage resistance aura there against ranged attacks from the Seer Council, helping protect them from the looted tank. Typically a looted tank being the tank with the highest burst damage and the highest splash damage on its main cannon shell should do quite a bit more damage to an infantry squad than it did there, but yeah. Seer Council have got innate resistance against ranged attacks. Prism is on the way. What Spider Rexac is decapping the natural of Piano, being a pain in the ass as usual. Looted tank showing rear armor to the Bright Lance here. Not going to go down, but it's conceding so much damage. Oh, it might go down because there's crack shot on the Bright Lance. It just manages to get away. Here comes the call. The boys going to be fully reinforcing the sluggers there, but they are on the basic sluggers having lost their knob. They're going to die very fast in melee with a squad of Seer Council. Hard boys on basic sluggers. Piano, are you tripping? All the knobs on the squads are being killed here. Here comes the Fire Prism, a very sleek looking black Fire Prism. And both of the naturals are now under the control of Inekura. Inekura is set up to win this game for sure. Knobs trying to take down the Wraith Lord, but they're already engaging him. Like I said, the Knobs only had like 2/3 of their HP, if that. Whereas the Wraith Lord was basically full HP. And now the Knobs are losing models, so they're bleeding DPS. But the War Boss comes out with his Power Claw. And he is going to be able to contribute a lot better. The War Boss is very good against these walkers. Looted Tank is going to be the one that gets the final kill. What forced off the Prism? Stormbows without a knob? Seems odd. I feel like Inekura's Prism control was a bit off there. Looters are present in the center of the map again. They're going to be hiding the guns and infiltrating, waiting for that Prism to get a bit cocky, but the Rangers might detect them now. Yeah, they're gonna. Telling you, man, Pistol Rangers, really good unit. Warboss quite happy to be tearing apart Guardians, but turns heel when he sees the Seer Council running in. And Prism got really nice range, of course. Yeah, it's a tank hunter kind of style unit. It's got to exploit its range, and look how Innie is using the Pistol Rangers here to gain line of sight whilst infiltrated for his Prism. Putting huge amounts of pressure onto that looted tank. This feels so bad for Piano. I mean, definitely misplays. Like, I don't know what the Knob Squad were doing fighting that Wraith Lord for so long prior to the Warboss turning up with the Power Claw. I think Piano's Warboss globals have been really bad in this game. Mostly been wasting his red, really not achieving anything. So he could have had a Rocks, or he could have been using them more decisively. The first time the Knobs encountered the Seers and they dropped Duty Choppers and Hard Boys, that was crazy. And then dropping Uji Choppers on Stormboys against the Spider that just teleports away. Also very suspicious. But here we go, we've got the Bright Lance covering. Prism is going to engage using the Rangers to spot. Oh, but the Prism's in the wrong shot. It's in disperse mode. It needs to be in focus beam. And it needs to not be firing at the Stormboys behind them either. That's not great. Looks like Crackshot Bright Lance is sufficient for now, though. Oh, Crackshot Bright Lance is all that's needed to take out the looted tank in this instance. Damn. And now we're back to the Disperse Beam, controlling the Knobs. Probably going to wipe out the Rangers here. Ooh, very close. Stormboys are going to go for it. Yeah, they get it. They've got to retreat. No sync kill for them. Perhaps lucky. Piano managed to get his natural back. He's decapped the natural of Innie. I don't know what Piano's referencing here. What did you say, Dingus? What did you say? Are you complaining about Knobs? Or what? I don't think the Knobs have really done too much. I don't think the Seers or the Knobs really did that much. The problem here for Piano, of course, is the severe VP disparity that he has. Oh, well, also the Fire Prism is highly problematic because he doesn't really have any AV that can deal with it. He's got no mobile AV, just the looters. And you can see the Prism's just a pain, just constantly knocking everything over. Fortunately for Piano, all of his big orcs, all of his knobs and his war boss, they don't really take too much damage from the dispersed beam. Oh, here we go, we've got commandos now. Okay, yeah, that's a tool to use against the prism. As I always say, the Commando Knobs rocket launcher is as powerful as 3 tank busters, and he shows the rear arm with a prism. Boom. Goodbye. Inekura committed too early with his Seer Council there and had to retreat them before the fucking Commando Knobs could be tied up. So that was a big mistake. And there comes another Corps de Boys, fully reinforcing his Knobs and his Sluggers. The Avatar's going for a Wailing Doom. Oh, that was a Wailing Doom. Did a lot of damage, but it only killed a couple of Slugger Boys. To be fair, they're going to be in base healing for a while, so it's not that bad. We'll see how the Avatar's going to do. I mean, he's got a War Boss and some Knobs to contend with. I'm very confused as to why Piano hasn't got the huge hammers on the Knobs. I would consider that the best upgrade for them. He actually hasn't got any upgrades, has he? He's not using Minion Greener. I do think Minion Greener is a bit of a noob trap, to be honest. The amount of red that you use on it, just for 75% damage resistance for a very short period of time, it's not great, honestly. It's not that great. Unless you're dueling, like, Wraith Lords whilst getting shot or something. Heavy armor is up for the War Boss, making him really quite fearsome. Very simplistic war gear, but it kind of does everything you need. Gives him a giant increase in HP and a pretty decent increase in HP regen. Which, yeah, then you can combine with the extra HP regen that you get when you're charging around with your angry bits. And he's going to be replacing his Fire Prism. He needs a way to control that Knob squad, I suppose. Guess he doesn't really have anything better either. This is one of the problems with the Eldar late game. Absolutely no late game infantry. You get the Seer Council, but you only can get one of them. They're capped due to the range damage resistance aura that they emit. And then that's it. You have no tier 3 ranged infantry. There's no other options. You don't have anything like Vanguard or Bulgrins. So you're stuck with your tier 2 options, but what are you going to get? Warp Spiders in tier 3? I don't think so. They're going to bleed you to pieces against Commandos. So we're getting another Fire Prism. I'm not going to be able to get the decap with the Fire Prism sat there. War Boss not healthy enough to be engaging here. Commando's going to sneak over using their infiltration. The Rangers did get taken out, so Commandos are going to be really good for Piano here. Another Commando squad would be nice, I think. But the Mando's got forced off there by the... Ooh. Oh, I was wondering why he was using Wrath of Cain, but he's using it in retreat to try and snag the Sluggers, and it completely misses. Lol. What Spider Exarch is over there on the natural again, encountering a War Boss. The Knobs here, hopeless. Fighting way too much. But Piano's in a bit of a scramble right now because he's so low on VPs. Okay, here comes the concerted push. Well, not really, because he's missing his Knobs, who are now really low on HP as well, which is not great. Wailing Doom clipping a couple of models, but mostly dodged. This is where your use your choppers or your ad boys could be quite handy. Sluggers are in range stance. Sluggers, no! You're not fighting in melee, use your choppers, lads. Oh dear. Okay, Stormboys needs to get the hell out of there. They're getting ripped to pieces by the Seer Council. If the Sluggers had engaged earlier, it would have been better. Or if you put use your choppers on the Stormboys rather than the Sluggers. That was a nice nade. Hey, 5 Prism into nade combo. Ooh, into another Wailing Doom. That's pretty brutal. Ah, the Sluggers haven't moved. Yikes. But here come the Knobs. The Commando Knob on the Commandos is still in play, which is problematic for Inekura. Oh, there's no VP time. Ooh. I was going to say, so long as the prism's there, the knobs can't really deal with the avatar, because the avatar won't get knocked over by the dispersed beam of the prism, but the prism will knock over the knobs. Normally, if it was just between the knobs versus avatar, the knobs would tear the avatar to pieces. The avatar is a support super unit after all, with it buffs the damage of all nearby Eldari, as well as making them immune to suppression, and it's got these big AoE abilities. It's not really meant to be brawling, really. But yeah, it's alright, he wins on the VPs, damn. Really hard to keep up with the VP game against What Spider Exarch. I wasn't really following the What Spider Exarch, but I was calling it out when I seen him on the minimap. He was constantly pressuring down this side of the map. And honestly, that's a pain in the ass on this map, because he's got these two garrisons to utilize. So really hard to deal with your very conventional build here, just maximizing his range DPS and his range and his energy economy to constantly be teleporting. And so Inekura wins it on VPs, but nice to see a little bit of a Xenos bash. Don't really see it too often these days. It's going to be all from your boy Torpid this time. I am signing out.